Alright guys, as you can see, I have gotten the Story of Mini prototype, and I'm ready to unbox it and see what this prototype has in store for us. I have not opened it up beyond this point, so I have no idea what I'm about to get into, but I guess we'll find out together. Alright, now disclaimer, of course, prototype, right? So this is not final, nothing in here is final, but it gives you a little sense of where they're at with the game right now. Also, this will be crowdfunded soon. I'll go and link down to that in the description below. Feel free to check that out. Looks like on the back they just have a little bit, but the main thing here says create your character, explore the land, and choose wisely. So I really like the create your character part of it. Obviously the explore and then choose, right? So like they're definitely like laying into it around that, right? It says open world exploration, 40 plus adventures with unique goals, different resolutions, 250 plus enemies, 10 plus character classes. No fighter world would be the same because of the leveling up system and stuff like that when you get skills and whatnot. So we'll take a look right now at just the components and kind of see where they are right now. Now, again, a lot of this is just fun to see early, right? Obviously prototype though, but a lot of it is also you can get a good sense of where maybe they're at with the game. And that's always kind of nice too. So, right here we have a book of adventure. We'll start right off here. Taking a look here. Obviously the art looks really good. Very cool. I like the kind of the texture that they've added onto there. A little dusty. That's all right as well, of course. And on the back there, it looks like it's all one big piece of art. So let's see if that's the case. It is. So that is the art that they chose there. It looks cool. That's a splash of color there. Okay. I'm already seeing some more art I like. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Vagamonia in that sense. And that's a positive thing. It looks awesome. Very cool art here with some stylized text there. But everything feels kind of stylized and special and different, which is very cool to see. Love seeing the different kinds of art. I think that's awesome. Obviously, it looks like we have some different clues and stuff like that. Obviously, all this is subject to change, so it shouldn't be too much of a spoiler anyway. But at the same time, very, very cool to see some of the artwork and what you're doing and, you know, the little search icons and stuff like that. Very, very cool art. I'm loving the art. Like, that looks awesome to me. Like, look at that thing. Freaking crazy. It looks pretty sweet. This is definitely old style to me when it comes to RPGs. There's a legend keyword right there in the back. Even in the prototype, they're thinking of that, so that's helpful. Okay, I'll put that over there. And next up, we also have the Book of Rumors. Front and back there. There's the Story of Mini symbol. I like this, the symbol. That's very cool. Okay, again, really cool looking art. Very, very cool. I'll forward about this book. Then it looks like we have different things that you can check off. So it looks like it will be kind of a, you know, you do what the book tells you, and you might run through it once. Now, obviously, there's some big clues here, so there's some chunky reading here a little bit. That's really cool looking. And it looks like there's some spots there to maybe mark it off in the book. You can choose to do that, or mark it off on the side. Often I do that because I hate marking books, but either way, a lot of symbols I'm noticing. So they're using symbols to kind of shorthand some different things here. I can see right here, and there is a random region roll as well, where your roll looks to be 100, and get a generic or a random number out of 100, and then know where to go from there. Okay, so now we have Book of Spheres. Lots of books here. Lots of books. Again, all prototype. Looks like this is like this. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, so this opens up different. So this is very cool. Athletics, endurance, alerted senses, hardened skin to resist stun, elemental tendency, body and soul impervious, steadfast wrestler, colossal fortitude, supreme metabolism, trolls regeneration to the bitter end. So you have all these different abilities for body here. Then it looks like here you have a cloak. So you have concealed weapon or stream of knives or weapon finesse, assassinate, backstab, dark silhouette, epitaph of shadows, right? Death dealer. So very cool stuff there. Then you have Conjuring. Again, very cool stuff as well. Grease and Shatter. Remove any ailment. Resplendent Mansion, Teleport, Blade Barrier, Summon Monster. That's fun. I like that idea. Love summoning in any game. All my ARPGs, if there's an ability to summon, I do. I don't like timed pets, but permanent pets I love. Unholy Strength, this is for death. Reanimate, Create Undead, Keeper of the Dead, Blood Affliction, Life Siphoning, right? So all these different abilities that you can have. There's so many. I'm not going to read through them all, but here's some defense ones. Right, here's Destruction. Here's Divination. Here's Holy. This is a lot. Here is Law. Melee. Ranged. Then we have Survival. Treasure Hunter. Witchery. Mistform. That sounded cool. What is this? Doesn't quite say what it is. Not sure. Different ones, but it doesn't like it says the actual name here. Just that this is what they are. Let's see. Maybe I missed something. Maybe not. Maybe they just don't have a name for it yet. Either way, you have a few more things there. Could be the symbol here that I need to be looking at instead, right? Because now there's another one here. But yeah, there's a lot here, guys. Like, a whole bunch. So, a lot of leveling options there, as you can see. Okay. Next up, I do have a campaign adventure kind of booklet. We have a calendar with different numbers associated depending on what's going on. We have the Summer Dame End, the Autumn Earl, and the Winter King. Campaign keywords, what the up to 4 adventures are. Here's a little map with some symbols based off of where you're going by the looks of it. This is a world of Varda. And on the back here you have different achievements, discoveries, legendary enemies slain, where your last region was. Very cool. All right, so there's that. It's got one copy in the prototype anyway. Now, got some cubes here. I'm not going to show them all off. It looks like they all are cubes. Is that cubes in there? Kind of hard to tell. The gold ones, though, are kind of unique. You don't see that too often. Yes, these are just more and more cubes. But I do like the kind of the gold ones. That's fun. But you guys have seen those. If not, you just did. They're just cubes. Okay, let's see. We got a draw bag here. At least currently in the prototype, I am able to fit my whole hand in there. I appreciate that. It's actually very soft inside and out. Very nice. Okay, a little bit more gold there too. Got a few tokens. These are almost custom by the looks of it, just in how it was cut out. I'm not seeing, yep, so at least this one is thicker and it does not have the same front and back. So it has camping supplies and then, obviously the camp there. Okay, we got some dice. Right now, though, at least they're just kind of generic dice, so there are quite a few different kinds of dice. They're not all 6-sided dice or 20-sided dice. In fact, I don't see any 20-sided dice, so that's cool to see also. Okay. Now we got some cards. We got quite a bit of cards here. Shouldn't surprise anybody, really. Some sleeves by the looks of it. And, yeah, okay, so we're going to go look at some cards, and then we'll look at some of those stuff. We're going to look at the big ones first, of course. Of course. All right. So, these are enemies. All right, some elite enemies here, at least, and then there's some standard enemies. So you can see things get worse and worse, right? The color changes, but there's a little bit of a difference in what's around it. Like, I don't know what this is, but then there's another hand as well, and like a tentacle thing coming out and stuff. So, but a lot of different enemies. And then we have some player aids by the looks of it as well. Combat and conditions, 4 of each. And then on the other side, we have types of actions, and then just some more generic, hey, here's how to do stuff. So That is the player aids. Honestly, this is already pretty nice quality right here. Like, this isn't bad at all. I love the size. All right, let's look at some enemies. There's going to be a whole bunch here. Okay, so it looks like they all have art and color and everything. We're going to zoom in a little bit. Now, I am seeing a lot of symbols again, so that's something you're going to have to kind of be used to. There's obviously dice as well, and dice are pretty easy. Looks like you assign dice perhaps, but there's some more symbols kind of every which way, and obviously their stats are symbol based as well. You have cultist, you have a giant spider, you have a stellar enemy, an infernal stag, vagabond, there's the Twilight Knight, spore cloud octopus, why not, skeleton, another spore cloud octopus. So are they the same? Are they different? I don't know. Looks to be the same to me from what I can tell. You might have multiple copies of some of them. A whole bunch. And again, pretty classic art on everything.
I inhaled my spit.
You're so cool. You alright?
Good.
There's a frog warrior that's using a shell as a shield, which is pretty sweet. So that's awesome. And some fish folk here. The style of art is very old school. It reminds me a lot of old Magic cards, to be honest. So if you were a fan of Magic cards way back in the day, you might recognize this style of art somewhat. It's not one you see very often in games anymore. It's a little bit more loose when it comes to like proportions or color. Sometimes things can get lost in not lost, but less defined in the shape of everything. But yeah, it just has a bit more of a hand-drawn kind of look to it, right? It's very cool. Anyway, there's a lot here. Look at that freaking frog. Let's see, he's got like a 12-pack on there. Dear Lord. A Battletoad, huh? Scary is what he is. Yeah, these are cool. I love the art on these. Very, very cool. Pirate Captain. Some classic ones. Some ones that are pretty unique. So, yeah, a lot of enemies. That's super cool. I like that. Okay. Now, I do have some brand new cards to open, so that's cool. Sometimes when you get a prototype, you get one that's been played a lot. Sometimes one that's played a little bit. Sometimes one that's not played at all. Right? And it just kind of depends. And sometimes it's kind of a mix where some things are new, some things are reused. You get a whole wide variety, which is why I like looking at these prototypes. You can really see kind of where they're at. Obviously, I think they've done a pretty good job of this so far. Linen cards here, right? All custom printed. Let's look at the back first, actually. So it looks like you have some of these. You got the weapons. Got the weapon magical property to kind of accentuate something on. You have some kind of loot here. You got a whole bunch of different decks, guys. Got something here. You have waystones. Some more stuff here. Here's some potions. Quite a bit of potions. Again, some just have symbols, but a lot of different decks. Here's some herbs, lots of herbs. And then the Grand Emporium. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look real quick at weapons. We'll start there because that's fun. All right, so again, you have the same kind of art style, which I really appreciate. I like the contrast of the weapon. I think that looks really good. It's really easy to see what it is you have. And again, it reminds me of this kind of really old school look to it. Now, this text is a little hard to read. I'm fine with it, but not everybody's going to have the light, going to be close to it, and have, you know, my eyes versus somebody else's eyes. But those are your weapons. Again, quite a variety. Most melee, some ranged, but not like a huge amount of range. And when there was also like these weapon magical properties. Let's take a look here. So you can have +1 attack. You can have, this is just +1. You can have fire, holy, void rot, and vicious. that are added to those. That's pretty cool to see. Let's go and take a look at some herbs. Why not? Again, each of these look pretty different. I'm not seeing any repeat even on the herbs, which is kind of interesting. Now, again, it's all... man, all these are unique, too. I don't see it really popping up too much. Yeah, all of it is unique art, which also is kind of interesting because I think that kind of means you can't have two of the same herb. Kind of interesting. Okay, let's look at the Grand Emporium. You have Burning Oil, Canine Idol, Climber's Kit, Coarse Whetstone, Healing Paste, Hunting Trap, Magnesium, Sulfur, and the Scorching Sun. Kind of interesting to see the variety there. Got some potions. So interesting. There's Burning Oil there and Burning Oil here, but they're a little different. Potion supplementary, ranged. I think this one really is just the ingredients are added to it on the bottom there on how you make these potions, which is kind of cool. Again, all prototype. Everything can change. Here we have some kind of traits by the sounds of it. Bow expert, crossbow expert, danger sense, heal shot, quick draw, supplementary expert. That's on the ranged ones, right? So here's probably some melee ones. Bleed, bludgeoning expert, charge, hamstring, offensive stance, piercing expert, power attack, pummel, slashing experts. A lot there. Oh, I'll put this on backwards. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Then you have more and more. Here's some just camping ones. Fast hands, improved grit, improved reflex, improved will, tumble, and foraging. Now here's some commerce ones by the looks of it. Coordination, escape artist, greed, and old skill blueprints. So again, you got quite a few of these different ones. Dispel magic, right? Here's another one. Bless weapon. So very much, this reminds me of a lot of old video games I used to play. And then there's these little things too, some kind of clue of some kind to the game itself and what you're doing. Those are pretty cool. Those are pretty cool. Okay, this looks like it might have some more like armor and stuff like that, plus some events and whatnot. So just another stack of small cards more than something wholly separate by the looks of it. So let's see what we got here. +1, danger sense, death warded, sanctified, sustaining. Oh, these are like status elements. Hide armor, leather vest. Oh no, because now these are padded armor, scale armor, steel shield, wooden shield. Then you have some more abilities here. A lot more. My goodness, so many. Silence, vascular severance, fire attunement, blessed strike, guidance. Wise one, and then you have events here. These are just different events that can happen. It looks to be like those are all unique as well. My goodness. Okay, so there's those. We've only got a few more here. This is the last one I have to open. Oh, it does show up a little bit. You wake him up. Hey, buddy. Poor guy. All right, so here it looks like we have some waystones. Quite a few of those. We have some unexpected patron, and that doesn't sound good. Cool art, though. I'm not sure it exactly fits with the rest of the art. I don't know. I'll have to see what everything else looks like. Flame of... At least not the items. I guess the characters and stuff it does. Flames of Reverence. A lot of those, too. Now, on the other side, it looks like, yeah, they're just various path things that change how things look. Interesting. They do have numbers, too. See how that looks like. I'm not exactly sure. We do have some wondrous items here. Let's take a look at some wondrous items. Again, love the artwork there. Just looks fantastic. And we have some different summons. So some different characters and stuff. Again, very cool art. Oh, okay, and then it has, like, I guess what's going on with those people. Interesting. You have a Force Wolf you can summon, or a Skeletal Vanguard you can summon. That's neat. Again, this is all just a prototype, too. Alright, Boots of Speed, Bottomless Box, Elemental Cloak, Grail of Heroes, Hallowed Mirror, just a whole bunch of different ones. Fundamentally different size cards. They definitely look quite unique. Alright, and then the last bit of cards that we have here are, looks like dungeon cards of some kind. Again, the artwork on the back looks fantastic. I really enjoy those. And then, yeah, so this just sets up a dungeon, right? This is what it will look like. It's different events at different spots. Very cool. Okay, so that is a lot of cards. That's a lot of skills, a lot of everything. This is a very deep, very engrossing looking RPG. Okay, I'm assuming some minis of some kind, or standees, or who knows what. We'll see. It's a prototype. Area content roll. So a little bit of guiding charts there. It looks like, geez, there's just more and more and more. So we have a dual layer board already here. That's cool to see. Very cool. Great looking art. Looks like you would put some things here. Not cards or anything though, so I'm not sure exactly what you'll put there. Do have some upgrade and world stickers. It looks like some have been used. Hopefully not all of them. So a little bit of a legacy game in that sense by the looks of it. Now we do have an actual kind of map here. So let's go ahead and start opening this up to see what it looks like. Okay, it's really big. Ooh. It's exactly like that little chart you saw, by the way, just without those symbols on it. But it's, you know, there's a world of Valda, right? It looks the same there. The art style itself looks really good. I do appreciate all that. Everything looks pretty easy to read. The green on green maybe is the least amount, and that's still readable to me. I guess there's orange on orange. It kind of fits, right? Here, a light green on light green, right? But there's a little bit of a shadow around it by the looks of it, at least an outline that helps it out a lot. The only thing that would normally be bad, but I don't think is this looks a little grainy and hand-drawn, but I think that fits the vibe they're going for. So I don't think that's a bad thing here. And a lot of games sometimes maybe that would be, but you know, the art style is already this kind of like drawn style, right? Okay, so now it looks like, from what I can tell, I bet these are insets with the clamps. See, I love this. I remember way back in the day when I first saw Monolith do this with Claustrophobia 1643, I'm like, I want most of the games to do this. If it makes sense from an art perspective, it just is so much cheaper to make, so much more efficient, right? So here's your barbarian, right? But and then on the back, it looks like there's your little skill trees for everything. Let me zoom out a little bit. I could have zoomed off of the map, but that's all right. You saw. Actually, it's probably better to see it up close more than anything, actually. But we take this. It's going to open up some. Oh, maybe just slide it in. Interesting. So in this one, you're just sliding it in. Normally, you like clamp it in. In this one, I think you're doing this. Okay. And now you have your board. So here's your barbarian, right? And you have your name and your race and everything. And you can mark off stuff or do whatever you need here. It looks like there's lots of spots for the different abilities and cards and equipment or whatnot. On the back, you get some art here. It's that art that we first saw. And then you can obviously take this stuff out as well and put in the next one, right? So you can take that out and then put in, you know, a cleric if you wanted, right? So I love these. I think these are really cool. Interesting that's not the clamp, but instead it's just kind of open on the side. Seems to work just fine, though, as far as I can tell. All right, very cool to see. Love that. All right, we do have some tokens. And then I think the only thing left really to look at are what's in those boxes. Oh, look at that. They punch out fine. Already good tokens. Not very squishy at all. Actually quite dense. Fairly centered. A little off here. So if we zoom in a little bit, you'll kind of see what it is I'm looking at exactly. But essentially, I feel there is more space on this side than this side. Now, that's pretty common, especially in prototypes. But, yeah, nothing grossly wrong or anything like that. And again, it kind of matches the theme if they want to even keep it that way. But I imagine they'll make sure it's printed perfectly at the end. Very, very dense. I'm not getting a lot of squeeze on this at all. And again, this is a prototype, so I'm not trying to review the components too much, except just to know kind of if it's already impressive or if there's a design issue I see or something like that. Otherwise, this is actually looking quite good. Yeah. Comes out fine. Very actually happy with the tokens. Like surprised. See if I can even get that back in. All right, very cool. Well, let's go ahead then and look at these boxes. Here's this one all by its little lonesome here. Oh, this is... Oh no, it came in pieces. Okay, well, I will glue that and then come right back to it. But it looks amazing already. All right, and then let's see if these fared better. Again, can always glue them up. All right. Oh, yeah, looks like these actually came together pretty good. There's a few broken ones, but nothing too bad. Nothing terrible per se. This wash on them is actually really, really cool. Okay, yeah, some of them did have little parts that broke off every so often. These are a neat little, I don't know if they're chests or what. You can kind of see them here, though. Very cool. They look awesome, I'll tell you that much. Looks like we even have some terrain. Now, again, this is a 3D print. I can tell you that right now. You can see all the supports there. Very small, fine detail on this, so this isn't exactly how it would look like in its final form, but it does look really good. I love the open door here. That looks super cool. The skeleton here looks great. Again, very small details, though, even at this scale. So on a mass injection plastic, these will have to be exaggerated a little bit, or it's not going to necessarily come out looking exactly how you'd want it there. The barrel, though, that looks great also. Yeah, just looks really, really cool. Quite impressed with this. Looks awesome. Oh, yeah, there's a few of these little things. Look at this one. I like the wash that they did on this. This is very cool. And, yeah, again, it just gives a good sense of the vibe, right, that I'm kind of seeing here. And, yeah, a lot of these... look at these still need to be kind of fixed a little bit. So, you know what? Why don't I go ahead and glue some of this together, and then we'll look at the rest of them. All right, I finally actually repaired most of these. Not quite all of them, and I'll talk around that, but they are pretty darn cool. So let's start with a cool one here. There's this guy who is just awesome. The design of these, a lot of times, is actually really smart. I love the terrain that they've added to make the pose dynamic. He has a really cool weapon here. This is actually fairly thick, and it actually has like this really interesting back half here that I think is awesome. But of course, the halberd style kind of, I don't even know what this is. It just looks really cool. I love the bald fist. I love how he's holding that. The separation of his clothing here from his boot looks awesome. Of course, this is a 3D printed resin mini with like an oil wash, right? But all that does is help kind of show off what's here. And honestly, what's here, I can see going just fine to a final miniature. I think he just looks really, really cool. This guy's poking me. Really, really cool. Just a very neat design. I love the helmet. I love the kind of leaning forward. It shows a lot of agency. It's not just, making a pose, and instead is like trying to lean over, trying to see something. It looks really cool. The jagged edge here is awesome. What a cool mini. What a nice design. I love that. I love the like broken cape here too. I think that's cool. Very cool kneecap. Look at that. That is awesome. Yeah, a very cool mini. Indeed. Indeed. All right, so there's that one. That one's complete, so that one's good. We have a few of these guys. We have quite a bit. They all are numbered here. And this one, again, very cool as well. Is these two little daggers. Most of these daggers I've had to glue on, at least one, maybe both of them, just depends. Love the textured base here, and that's probably one of the main differences I've seen. This is fully textured, even as you see, it's not even like a perfect circle here, compared to this guy who has a very obvious circle base. Now, it's a cool angled one here, and again, I don't know if that's permanent or not. This is obviously a prototype, but I really like the base here. It's really thin. It just looks like earth, fits quite well, and the number makes it super obvious there as well. Does have, what, 3 different blades plus some like throwing daggers and stuff. And again, a cool kind of helmet that seems to be a common piece here. The leggings here are great. Well, the leggings, the legs, the pants here are cool. Satchel's nice. In the back, he's got like all these straps and stuff, and the belt, and it looks really good. There's a lot of texture here, but not so much that it's like terrible or annoying or super layered. Instead, it just looks like a really good quality mini. We have, again, a whole bunch of those. All right, another one we have a whole bunch of are these guys. I think we have like 8 of these or something like that, quite a bit. And these little like demon dog things are actually really cool. Again, there's a little hair and stuff like that, how it was stored. But they have this really cool pose where they're on these 2 like outcroppings here. They look pretty good. I would actually prefer it to be connected in the middle too, just so it doesn't look like it's 2 different separate platforms perfectly for the feet. Instead, it has this kind of connection there. But again, that's me being picky. You guys know how I am. The detail-wise, this looks awesome. I love the different spikes, the different like recesses in the plates. The multiple horns here are very cool. I love the like layered horns that he has there, and the texture on the horns themselves look great too. The face looks good. The snout's good. It's got nice teeth. Nothing here looks like it wouldn't make it to the final mini. Honestly, this is a cool one. All right, let's look at the little traveler guy. You see this a lot in one of the portions of the game. Again, very small. He's got his little map out or whatever. He's got his big backpack on, right? He's got like a chest up there. The hood, everything is just really, really fun here. The little lantern here. It'd be really fun to paint this guy, I feel. And again, I like how small he is. The texture on the base is good. It's just kind of a little kind of slice out of the world that he's traveling in. Just very, very cool. I like it a lot. I think it looks awesome, especially, again, the map in the front. I think really adds a lot. Just a fun little guy. I like him. He is tiny, right? Like if you compare the size here, right? He's a different scale than the others. All right, let's go for another one. Let's go for this one here. So this one here I had to glue up a little bit, but not too bad. The base, again, fantastic, fully based. The entire base is, like a kind of a little snippet of the ground there, and there's some cool stuff going on there. The flowing cape is cool. I like the texture on the bottom, especially here. It's a very nice touch. Again, this is all prototype. In fact, it looks like there's probably some supports there, I think. All this resin obviously prints differently than the final miniature would. That being said, this looks pretty standard fare here. You get the bones of the skeleton. This is a pretty skinny connection here. This is actually where it broke. I had to glue it back on. It is connected here and here, but I think they're going to have to extend these rib bones out a bit more just to make sure that connection's solid on the final miniature. I love these flowing capes out here. And it could work as long as it's a separate piece that you just like put on top of it, so you don't have any like negative spacing there where it's the metal sheets or the steel plates that it's in. You can get the miniature out of. The face is super cool. Love the hood. Again, you got these like giant pauldrons and stuff like that. Just the armor in general is really cool, and I love the difference between the thick armor and the skeleton underneath. I think that's actually pretty neat. The arms, interesting enough, are not skeleton. It's really just like the middle part that's skeleton, which I think is kind of cool. I think that's pretty neat. So it looks like there's like maybe nothing here. tiny bit of skeleton here, but then the top with the arms and the face and stuff are like an actual person. I think that's a cool touch. I really like that one a lot. All right, let's go for this guy here. So this is a fun one. I had to glue the sword, so I apologize if it's a little wonkier than normal. Again, fully sculpted base. It's just kind of a slice of the earth that they're on. Very cool pose. I love the stitching on here. That was one of the first things I noticed. It looked really cool. Obviously, the face is here, and the fur is actually pretty cool as well. It's like this lion cat kind of person, like from Skyrim or something like that. Again, cool armor. They have like big, honking like shoulder pads and stuff like that, and these greaves and whatnot, and the boots and stuff. The sword, I love the two-handed sword and the pose there. Muscular arms holding it. Very, very powerful foe pose. I really like this one. It's cool. But that being said, this pokes me like all the time because it's straight up when I go to grab them. All right, let's look at this one. This one had a small glue portion right here, so I apologize if it's not supposed to go to the side here, maybe somewhere else. That looked to be about where it is. Again, fully sculpted base, love that. Very cool shield. The shield is definitely a highlight here, I feel. That being said, the hood and the face inside look fantastic. Look really good. Again, I love the various books that they have there. The cape, also a highlight for me. That looks great. As you can see, it's going to highlight and shade really, really well when you paint it. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, very cool. I love that this is like normal size. It's not like super long handle or something like that. It's unwieldy. It looks like something you could actually use. And of course, with this resin version, at least, the blade is a good thickness. Comes to a nice point there. Yeah, very cool. Very kind of powerful pose there that I really like. So let's look at another monster here. Here's another one here that I had to glue this arm and this arm to, and then glue them back onto their leg right here. Now, I've angled this a little bit to make a bigger connection point, and it's something I would suggest that they do as well. So right now, this would be the weakest part. If this is ABS, when they finally print it, it'd be fine. If it's PVC, it might get a little wobbly here. So this normally is not connected here, but I went ahead and connected this. So it now has two connection points, and it's much more sturdy. Before it was just the leg, which looks cool, but I really think it benefits from that extra connection point here. And I think it still looks great. And again, you can adjust the angle slightly, but going off of that, obviously the basing is super cool. I love this kind of like ramp up that it has here. At least in this version, the cape isn't all filled in and stuff, which is great. You're going to want to keep that, which does probably mean that the legs will be separate, and then you put that on because obviously all this negative space doesn't work for the final print in a single piece. But that's why we multi-piece them, right? The armor is amazing. It's like very stylized. It's almost kind of dress-like in how it is. Very, very cool. And even like almost like a bone structure or something. Like you see the lines here that I'm kind of talking about, and the segments kind of remind me of bone. And then it has these like outcroppings here. There's a piece missing here. It would normally match that. There's a ton of tiny little pieces in that box that I'm not bothering to glue, and that's okay. It's just a prototype after all. The face is cool. It's kind of bug-like in a very neat way. And I do like the tail coming out of there. One of the things I actually like the most is this cape. And the reason is because it's so different. Everything else has all this texture and lines and segments and spikes and stuff. And then there's this cape, which is smooth. And I just think that's super cool. I really, really like the difference that has. It really looks different. It just adds that little bit of extra to make it, I guess, not look so uniform and convoluted. Very, very cool. All right, let's go and look at some terrain here. So we have like this terrain here, which again looks awesome. Now the skeleton here is quite small, right? So this is definitely not like to scale. In fact, it's probably closer to where it would be like around with this guy. Not that that's even the same scale, but like that's not as different as, something like this, right? So yeah, the scale though, regardless, is really, really cool. It still shows a lot of detail. Love the crumbles around here, the various, like broken lines, jagged lines here and stuff. Of course, the skeleton is nice. The steps spiraling up, just very, very cool. I really like this, like a lot. Putting a little like fire piers here would be super cool, but I don't know exactly what they'll signify, but just a nice little terrain. Actually, we'll go and look at the other one as well. You get two of these. This is looking one. Again, another skeleton. This skeleton is larger, I feel. I feel the scale's a little bit, like, you see the head difference there, right? So a little bit of a more one-to-one scale, a little bit closer to, where'd the little traveler guy go? Here he is. A little bit closer to what you would expect from this. Obviously, he still can't fit through there. That being said, neither can the skeleton. This door is just too small, right? He'd have to, like, shrink down a little bit to get through there. I love that the door is open. I love the texture you see everywhere on, like, I don't know, it's just not quite smooth. It has this little faint texture to it, which obviously you'd want to translate to the final miniature, so it might need that deepened a little bit. Same with, like, the wood texture on the barrel. Otherwise, it might end up a little smooth. I love the rubble. It just makes it look a little old. That plus, like, the skeleton, just fantastic. I do love that the skeleton's, like, slouched over. Just really, really cool. I love it. Adds a lot of character to it. All right, let's look at like a pirate guy here. So this is a very different kind of person. Again, I had to put the blade on. Looks like they did maybe miss a wash on this side of it. Again, I don't know which side that originally was, but you can kind of see the texture either way. Again, the base, fully sculpted, looks great. The capes look good. These, like, revolvers, like the pistols that he has on the side, are awesome. I love that he has two of them. The hair looks great. Eye patch is good. The hat with the high brim there is amazing. Love that. Love the big puffy sleeves that he has. Very piratey like. I love that he's about to grab this. That looks awesome. Again, of course, in the resin, you can do these fingers quite well. For the plastic, you need a very good ABS ratio to be able to make those come out just fine. The stitching in here looks great. Just ornate, like, belt and stuff. Very cool pirate. Very good pirate. Okay. Let's look at, well, I kind of showed this one off, so here you go. Now, again, one thing I am noticing a little bit is the size difference in the base. You can see this one's quite skinny. This one's a little bit taller, right? So there's some variances there, of course, as well. Again, great sculpted base here. The amount of layers and tatters to this robe and folds is awesome. I do really like that. Additionally, this, like, I don't know if it's a mask or a very stylized looking face, but it looks super cool. Like, really, really cool. Some of the fingers are slightly broken off, so apologies for that. But as you can see, the pose, I think, is also great. They have both hands up, which I think I actually really like, especially as kind of like a magic kind of looking user. Again, the hood is fantastic. I love the, like, drape where you'd see that they cover their face with. That's kind of hanging down there. A very, very cool mini. Different style of robe than I think you're used to seeing in a lot of these. So that's super awesome. All right, here we got, like, almost like a little rogue person. This rogue person has the cool, like, bird mask going thing on, though. So they do have the little short crossbow and dagger. Very rogue-like, very cool. The armor looks like that quote-unquote leather armor, right, that is popular in fake fantasy. Yeah, the base, again, looks great. Love all the wrinkles in the clothing. That looks good. But the mask, I think, really changes it quite a bit. I also love that they do have the crossbow. You don't see that very often with them holding the short crossbow out. The knife backwards also adds a lot of style to it, right? Very, very stylized rogue that I appreciate. All right, let's do this axe guy here. So, see, and I just broke this off. So as you can see, I glued this on here, but apparently not good enough. For now, we'll just be very gentle. It does have a very cool axe, but obviously that is a skinny part, and for resin, it's very brittle, so it did break. It wouldn't as much on an ABS PVC mix. For a PVC, it'd probably bend a little bit, or they'd have to thicken it more likely than not. The face is very cool. Muscle definition is fantastic. Again, very, very common to see the shoulder pads. That's super common. But all the armor here is kind of similar in the pieces that they have. That being said, I love this, like, bottom portion only, like, kind of tunic thing, and he has, like, this fur cape thing that's going on too. And I do apologize for the axe there. The axe stylized, by the way, is very cool, and it is a cool pose. It just didn't make the translation to very fragile resin being shipped in loose shipping very, very well. All right, we got this one too, which is kind of interesting. This one's very cool. I think this might have broken off here, but I'm not exactly sure if that's how the blade's supposed to be or not. It's kind of hard to tell. It looks like either, I mean, it's kind of a darker resin, right? So that's probably a break, but I'm not sure exactly what went there. So there's probably something there, though, I think. Either way, I got the blade here. This is all glue here, so kind of don't mind this. It's a lot of super glue. I think they had already fixed it once before. And I actually had to glue it back on as well, but I didn't use quite so much glue. I love the little spikes coming off of the base here, so it's not just that flat texture all the time. I don't know if that's a evil versus, like bad guy versus good guy thing. Sometimes bad guys just get more spikes. The helmet hat thing is super duper cool, actually. I love it. Otherwise, the cape, again, very different. And I know I've commented on these, like, not capes, but, just the cloth in general. Each one is kind of unique, and I really appreciate it. It's not just one set type. I think it looks really cool. Love holding the little kind of knife there. I think that's awesome. It's a cool pose for sure. The face underneath, very staunch. Very much just kind of judging and looking. All right, we're almost done. We have some really cool ones coming up. This one is neat because it has, again, I don't know if it's like a goblin character or what, but it has a very angled face, very pointy nose, these like droopy pointy ears going down, and then this like kind of dreadlock style kind of hair, almost like cornrows or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, but it's very cool. Again, very armored up there, a very short kind of tunic area here, a little bit longer in the middle there, very stylized. The guards on the side that do nothing but look cool, those are there as well. And they are kind of stylized, as you can see here. Very, very stylized. Now, what is this exactly? I think it's magic. I think it's some sort of magic between their hands. This is coming out of the palm of the hand on both sides, actually. So some kind of magic battle user, because they're also all armored up. I don't see any real weapons or anything like that. They do have some kind of like token or charm or head or something strapped here. Very cool. Very unique. Again, interesting take on them. All right. Here's one that is still kind of broken. I'm not sure what weapon they were holding. I kind of looked at images and wasn't able to see per se. I think it's attached to this. So this is like a bulge, like some kind of cudgel thing. I imagine it's some kind of chain or something attaching this, but I'm not exactly sure. I couldn't quite find what would attach these two. Looks like it might connect here and here. But either way, I apologize for the slight issue there. So moving on from that, obviously very, very cool mini. The huge kind of feather thing hanging down here is just awesome. The layered armor here is great. The kind of like feathers coming out of here are awesome. The kind of helmet with the wings on the side, it's open so you can see the face. It's super stylized looking. Like kite shield here is amazing. Again, you have kind of a different sort of kind of skirt thing here. The basing on this cobblestone, again, also fantastic, good choice. It very much reminds me of like a Dark Souls villain of some kind. The inside is cool too. I'm not sure what this is here. So I couldn't quite figure out what that is. I don't think it's a support. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but either way, this is one of my favorites, and if I had a connection here, I think it would be even more stand out for it. So when it comes to connections, so like for instance, I have this. I couldn't quite find where this connects. I'm not exactly sure. It looks like it connects to 2 points very close, and some kind of flowy thing, but I'm not exactly sure what to, so that one kind of stayed there. I also have this scythe blade here, which is super cool, and I can tell you, I believe it goes to this mini, but I couldn't quite connect it. The connection piece here is like really angled, so I think either a piece fell off in between. There's an empty spot here and here, and I almost thought like this should go like, it's almost close enough to connect. However, this right here also tells me I believe that's kind of a scythe, so I had to glue this part on, and I apologize if that's incorrect. Looks like a piece might have broken off here, but it has this spot here and this spot here. I think this just barely hangs out here. That's to like hold it on the side as you're sweeping the scythe around, right? So I want to say this goes somewhere like here or something like that, but that might have gone down here and this goes up here. I'm not exactly sure. Okay, so I apologize for that. I think the scythe goes with this super cool guy. So let's talk about him a little bit. So One of the cool things, obviously, is the legs. He's got like these weird, like kind of double jointed, like animal legs, and the face looks super cool too. But as you can see, he's kind of wearing just this kind of top cloth over him, which I think is very cool. And again, it looks so different. I really do enjoy it. He also has this like nasty, like clawed hand that's kind of just, it's freaky. He's missing a little bit of his ear. I apologize for that as well. Now, this one, he's holding by the hair some heads, and you can see one of the faces there, one of the faces there, and half of a face here. And it's like super hardcore, and I do really appreciate it. I think that looks awesome. That's like super cool. What a scary looking dude. I love the like ornate necklace he's got as well. Just a very frightening enemy, I would say. And I think the Scythe would add to that as well. Okay, now we do have one more, and this one's also super cool. And again, I think I might be missing one piece, maybe one piece, but that's it. So this, get it in camera. Actually, I might need to zoom out slightly just to make sure I stay in camera, because this one is pretty big. It's awesome. He's got like this freaking sweet casket that he's holding up that's like opened up, that has like a chain on it and a skull and junk like that. I don't even know what the heck's going on there. It's something crazy though. I'll tell you that much. Like it's just gnarly. You can see like the intestines like hanging out of him, just disgusting. You can see like he's like made up, or he has like armor of like bones and junk or some weird crap. His mouth is super open there, as you can see, and it's just gross. His eyes are just like eye holes. But then the hair is all flowing down and raggedy. He's got like these like twisted looking kind of candles on the back. If we go to the back, you can see a lot more of this like bone armor junk that he has. Just crazy. The muscle sinew here going into like I think a stub. I'm not sure. It might be broken here. I can't quite tell. I did have to glue this on right here. I believe that's what that line is. But again, it glues up back on because it's resin really well. Either way, it's got some kind of like blade like roped onto that there. Just crazy. The base is all jagged, and there's skulls and torsos and stuff everywhere. Again, it's a different scale than most of the rest of it, but he's holding this here. You can see like the clawed hand and then the cloth hanging off. Just crazy looking mini. Super cool. The casket is a favorite of mine. That is just an awesome looking weapon he's going to hit you with. It just screams like Bloodborne, Dark Souls kind of vibe to it, which I adore. I think that's super cool. Love it. This is definitely my favorite. He's really big. He's cool. As you can see, quite big. Like if you compare him to the Traveler kind of guy here, right? Like huge, right? But even like a normal person, like these are fairly normal size, I would say. Still quite large, right? So yeah, there's some cool ones here, right? Like this one was super cool too. Like honestly, I'm impressed. There's a wide variety of types of minis that are here, and I am all for it. It's all over the place. There's so many different things going on with all of this that I really, really do appreciate. So, yeah, this was a cool one. I'm actually pretty pumped for the style of this game. Just, again, the minis look so cool. The art looks awesome. The RPG side seems neat. Definitely interested. Obviously, link down in the description below, so feel free to check that out. Obviously, the campaign will be live soon, or already is, depending on when you're watching this. If it's live, or if you've missed it and you're just watching this, well, then feel free to subscribe so you don't miss another cool game like this. And I will talk to you guys again very soon. Take care. Bye, guys.